And we are live. Let's see if we can get some people to chime in here. Give them a few minutes. Welcome to Sapphire Ridge News, where we talk about conservative politics, lawfare, and current events. Today's topic is Diddy. What Diddy did and is still doing. So he was arrested several months ago now on sex trafficking charges. Hey, Zach. And what he has well, we'll start by saying what he did. He was arrested for sex trafficking charges for these supposed freak offs. When they raided his house, they confiscated 1,000 bottles of baby oil, among other things. It came out in court on Thursday that he has 100 charges against him. 100. And there are numerous reports about the alleged, well, we can't call them alleged, were freak-offs, and that he would invite people to these freak-offs and have them bring their children. And this is where things get blurry. There's videotapes of everything that happened at these freak-offs, which I would just call sex parties. And that he would have entertained the people and their whole family all day. And then he would go out onto a balcony and tell the kids to go to a certain room, that it's time for the adults to have fun. Now, it's alleged, and I have to say alleged because it hasn't come out in court yet, that some of the children, depending on their age, were drugged and taken to certain people. Now, I have to say alleged because this has not come out in court yet. But what we can say that did come out in court is, at his bail hearing on Thursday, is that he continues to try to intimidate witnesses. He's using other inmates' phone cards to call witnesses and try and buy them off or try and get them to change their testimony. It came out in court that he wanted home confinement, but he wants it at his private island in the Caribbean. And that when they said who is going to be his security, he named one of the inmates. This is just unreal. And it also came out in court through his lawyer, right, Zach. His lawyer stated in court. Now we have to remember the whole incident with Cassidy Ventura, where he beat the stuffing out of her in a hotel lobby. It's all on videotape. And his lawyer tried to say that that didn't happen, that he never hit her, he never kicked her, he never drug her around. And the judge interrupted and said, yes, he drug her around. It's on videotape. While dragging her around, he repeatedly kicked her and punched her. Hey, Tammy, welcome. And it also came out in court that he has 100 charges against him. The court hearing was a mess because the prosecutor would say, we've got him on tape trying to intimidate this witness. Hey, JR, welcome. And we've got him on tape trying to buy off this witness, that he used a fellow inmate's phone card to try and contact these witnesses. And the judge told him, you've been told by 2 previous judges, do not contact witnesses. And his lawyer tried to say that he would not flee. Well, he once tried to flee. That when he left, and this is another disgusting thing. This is another disgusting thing. When his house in LA was raided, he left his kids there to deal with the raid, and he flew to the Caribbean. Now tell me that's not trying to flee. Tell me that's not trying to flee. You leave your kids to deal with the raid in LA, and you jump on your private jet and go to the Caribbean. And his lawyer was saying, oh no, he didn't try to flee. He surrendered his passport, but let us use his house in the Caribbean, his private island, for his house arrest. Judge was buying none of it. And when his attorney tried to say that he didn't harm Cassidy Ventura, the judge said, hey, Gap girl, welcome. The judge said, it's on videotape. He drug her around the hotel lobby, kicking her, punching her, dragging her by her hair. At every turn where his attorney tried to say this or that didn't happen, the judge countered it with, it's on videotape. When they said that there are over 100 pending charges, I thought, wow. I knew that there was a lot, but I didn't know it was 100. And the news reports are trying to say that he's just the black version of Epstein. But I think that it goes so much deeper because there's videotape of him standing on a balcony where people are in his backyard by his pool with their children. And he says, okay, kids, it's time for you to go to your rooms. Time for the adults to play. But what is also reported is that when the kids would go to the specific room, that they were drugged and they were taken to different adults in different rooms. And it's all on videotape. If that's the case, his goose is cooked. His goose is cooked because one of the big things here is that he's been told to stop contacting witnesses. Yeah. See, he's been told to stop contacting witnesses, and he's still trying to buy off witnesses. And he's been open about this for the last 20 years. This has been going on. 20 years. And the feds have the list of all the people that showed up to his parties and what they did with whom and so on and so forth. And the trial is going to be an absolute mess because it's, in my mind, it's worse than Epstein because Diddy videotaped everything. And there's videotape of a white guy on a rattan couch by Diddy's pool. And Diddy walks out, the guy is passed out, face down by his drink. Diddy walks over to him, grabs him by the back of the head, lifts him up and says, "This is what happens to white people when they come to see Diddy." And he drops the guy's head in his drink. That is scary. That is scary because, and especially where he videotaped everything. He had parties in New York. He had parties in Miami. He had parties in LA. He had parties on his private island. And one of the things the prosecutor brought up to the judge is if he can intimidate witnesses from behind bars, what would he do if he was on house arrest where there was no limitation to who he could contact? And the judge basically said no bail. You know, and also the prosecutor said that the previous judge told him do not contact any witnesses, and 2 days after the hearing he was using another inmate's phone card to call witnesses. So the judge said, well, if he can't even follow court orders for 2 days, then what makes me think that he would follow orders from this court? Which I thought that was a valid thing to bring up. You know, what assurances does the judge have that he would follow orders when he's not following court orders to this day. He's not following court orders. There's just so much that has happened, you know, that, it's like Zach said, Epstein was more secretive. Diddy did it openly. Diddy was very open about what he was doing. He didn't try to hide it. He's been doing this for 20 years that I know of, since the year 2000, I think. So that would be 24 years. So how could the judge get him to stop contacting inmates from in jail unless he puts him in solitary, which solitary is not good. Solitary would make him go bonkers. No good answers, huh? No good answers. I have to do it this way. Yep, smash the like button. I have to do this way. Yeah, he's already bonkers is right. He's already bonkers. I would say he's evil, sadistic, that I would say he's a pedophile, because there are tapes of him with people like Usher and um, others when they were teenagers, of him inviting them to his freak offs. It's all on videotape. Justin Bieber, you know, yeah, predator of all sorts. And I haven't been able to prove this. Yes, JR, because Diddy provided the house. He was the person who invited the adults to his house to have with minors. And it's all on videotape. It's like, I don't want to be, yeah. Yeah, the one videotape shows him standing. Yeah, there's proof. There's proof, JR. Because he would invite the adults and their children to these freak offs. And he would have a big party for everybody during the day. And then he would walk out on the balcony and say, okay, kids, time to go to your room. Time for the adults to have some fun. And it's on videotape that the children would be taken to a specific room and be drugged and be taken to another room where an adult could abuse them. It's on video. There's over 100 charges. There's over 100 charges. No, the minors were there. The minors were there. It's on videotape that the minors were taken to a specific room and, quote, prepared for the festivities. And it shows on video of Diddy standing next to a white male. This is an adult male, though, who's passed out, and he picks him up by the hair of the head and says, "This is what happens to white people when they come to my parties," and drops his head in the drink. Yeah, it's all on videotape. And the funny thing is, he tried to say that he did not, through his attorney, tried to say that he did not beat up Cassidy Ventura. It's on videotape. He drug her through the hotel lobby, kicking her, punching her, dragging her by the hair. The judge even noted this. The judge said, "What do you mean he didn't drag her? It's on videotape." He said, the judge said, "I've seen the videotape of him dragging her around the hotel lobby, kicking her, punching her, dragging her by the hair." And then the judge tried to say, or the attorney tried to say, that he would not flee if they gave him house arrest. And the prosecutor said, if we give him house arrest, then there's no limits of who he can contact. He's been contacting witnesses from behind bars. What makes you think that he wouldn't continue that? Yeah, there's more than 2 or 3 minors, Zach. They have on videotape him with Justin Bieber, him with Usher, and him with others when they were minors. And over time, this is what happens when you get power. You want more power. He used his power over the adults to bring their kids. That's the way I understand it. If I'm wrong, I will go on air and say, hey, I found new information that is not right. I thought I saw an article. Let me check. Okay. I'm going to read you this. This is from NBCnews.com. Sean Diddy Combs, arrest, freak-offs at the center of sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Combs was arrested amid a wave of lawsuits against him alleging sexual assault and misconduct. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, who was arrested last night at a hotel in New York City, has been charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. At a hearing today in Manhattan, Combs pleaded not guilty. He was denied bail and will remain in custody. Well, that was several months ago. The charges are tied to freak-offs or coerced sex acts that Combs allegedly orchestrated and recorded, according to his federal indictment. A bail hearing was set for the next day and the bail was denied. Combs has faced a wave of lawsuits, one as recent as last week, accusing him of SA in misconduct within the past year. He has denied any wrongdoing. Prosecutors accuse Combs of witness tampering. This is all on NBCnews.com. Prosecutors accused Combs of witness tampering, saying at a hearing today, this was Thursday's hearing, that rap mogul's employees tried to ensure his ex-girlfriend and hotel employees wouldn't say anything about a beating at a Los Angeles hotel 8 years ago. Video of the assault, which captured Combs kicking, stomping on the singer Cassie at the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016, appeared from the hotel's server, prosecutors said. CNN later obtained the video of the attack and published it. Diddy apologized for the incident, which was part of a lawsuit Cassie filed last year, and called his behavior inexcusable. But he did not apologize until she filed the lawsuit. So that was part of the lawsuit, that he had to go on and apologize. That's the way I look at it. Prosecutors said they have recordings of Combs telling a bandmate of another woman who has accused Combs of SA in a lawsuit that she didn't have to worry about anything if she was willing to be on his side. Authorities found bags of pink powder in Combs' hotel room. Bags of pink powder were found in Sean's hotel room after he flew to New York on the advice of his lawyer 2 weeks ago to await arrest, prosecutors said. The powder was not tested, but the prosecutor said it appeared to be narcotics, and that similar bags previously seized at Combs' properties tested tested positive for drugs, including ecstasy. That's a hard word to say. Hey, Laugh. Welcome. We're just talking about Sean, well, Diddy. He goes by Diddy now. He's had so many names. Authorities have interviewed more than 50 witnesses and collected dozens of cell phones, laptops, and hard drives, and they are in possession of video that they say show coerced acts that Combs is accused of orchestrating. Combs' lawyer says they were consenting adults. Combs' defense lawyer argued that his client is in no way should be mentioned in the same sentence as some of the nation's most notorious criminals. The music mogul's defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, I think that's how you pronounce that, said Combs is not disgraced singer R. Kelly, cult leader Keith Raniere, or accused S trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. This is different, he told the court. These were consenting adults. His lawyer says he isn't guilty of sex trafficking, just cheating. Combs' defense attorney rejected the government's allegations that his client committed sex trafficking, but conceded the music mogul has been unfaithful for dark periods over a decade. This evidence, not of sex trafficking, but of being caught being unfaithful, defense lawyer Agnifilo told the court in arguing for his client to be granted bail. He was in a 10-year loving relationship through dark periods. That's a load of BS. No problem, laugh. That's the first hearing. I'm trying to get news today. Uh, Here, this is what Newsweek says. Diddy trial update. Judge sets last-minute hearing after new notes have been found. A hearing in the Diddy case will be held on Tuesday after the defense accused prosecutors of unlawfully seizing materials from the Combs jail cell. What came out was they did a sweep because there was contraband, I haven't got there yet, and they confiscated legal pads from Diddy's cell, and there was a envelope that Diddy said, that's notes to my lawyer. So after the raid, the COs put legal on it. But his lawyer is trying to say, oh, no, they unlawfully seized materials. Well, he's in jail. And when there's suspicion of contraband, when you're in jail, they do a sweep. They come in and they take everything. If it's marked legal, they set it aside. But this was not marked legal. He told them as they were doing the raid, that's notes to my lawyer. And they wrote on it after the raid, they wrote on it legal. It was not marked legal. But they have a right to go in and search your jail cell when you're in jail. I'm a retired jail chaplain. they have the right to anything and everything within your cell. Yeah, his attorney can say, "Oh, this was done illegally." It's like, excuse me, the dude's in jail. Let's see what this says. Says Combs, a 55-year-old rapper and record producer, was indicted on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering in September. The indictment accuses him of running a criminal enterprise operating over several years that involves coercing individuals to participate in various acts. I can't say the full word. I don't want to get the video taken down. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. On Friday, prosecutors accused Combs of concealing communications from jail and running social media campaigns to taint potential jurors and leak information. Okay, this is about the hearing that happened yesterday. Okay, it says on Friday, prosecutors accused Combs of concealing communications from jail and running social media campaigns to taint potential jurors and leak information that could be helpful to his case. They also allege that he has contacted witnesses through third parties. In a letter filed Monday, the defense said that prosecutors acknowledge that they possess possibly privileged materials such as notes recovered from the defendant's cell during bail arguments last week. The defense called the search of Combs' cell and seizure of personal items and paperwork an outrageous government conduct amounting to substantive due process violation. Combs' trial is scheduled to begin on May 5th. Combs is being held in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His lawyers are trying to advocate for his release on bail, while prosecutors argue that he should remain in jail ahead of his trial. The judge has already denied bail for Combs twice. This is a matter of grave concern that most respectfully must be addressed immediately, defense attorneys Judge Arun Subramanian. I hope I said that right. Okay, new photos. Let's do new photos. I said new, not nude. New. Right. The judge in the Diddy sex trafficking case demands his lawyers come to his upcoming bail hearing with answers about documents seized from his jail cell. Will appear in New York on Friday in a third attempt to be released on bail as he awaits his mini sex trafficking trial. May. On Tuesday, District Judge, boy, I have trouble with this, Arun Subramanian agreed with the defense motion to destroy copies of 19 pages of handwritten notes allegedly photographed by a government investigator in Combs' jail cell. Subramanian, I hope I'm saying that right, No, new, N-E-W. You trying to get my channel taken down? Sabramian ruled that the original papers will remain in the court's custody while both sides submit briefs over the next few weeks, while he determines if they can be used at trial. Combs' defense argued that the photographed legal pads and notes were found in a folder labeled legal. We just talked about this in our attorney-client material. However, the legal label is missing in the photographs turned into the court. Sabramian said Wednesday in court documents. At the scheduled hearing on Friday, defense counsel Comstein should be prepared to give the court further context on the legal label that the court was presented with at the November 19th hearing to address why this label doesn't appear on the photographs in the court's possession and why it wasn't addressed in defendant's submission to the court made a few hours ago. Yeah, he tried to say that the video of, I know, I had to give you some stuff there, Zach. Yeah, Diddy's lawyer tried to say the viral video of him dragging Cassie around the hotel was edited. Court hearing updates. Talks about jail cell. Bad boy for life rapper's defense claims investigators took photos of material from the legal folder during a recent raid in the MDC in Brooklyn. Combs was arrested in September. I thought it was longer ago than September that he was arrested. On charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He denies any wrongdoing. Tony Busby, the Houston-based lawyer representing 120. Listen to this. Well, laugh. We don't know if he did all of those things. We just have to talk about what he's being charged with. It'll come out in trial in May what he actually did. Tony Busby, the Houston-based lawyer representing 120 people in the case on Tuesday, filed 5 new lawsuits against the rapper on behalf of 3 males and 2 females. Busby said the conduct alleged in the lawsuits took place in New York and Miami. In another lawsuit filed on Monday, attorneys for an anonymous male celebrity accused Busby and his firm of shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly false, horrific allegations against him. Busby denied the allegations in a statement to Newsweek. We won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence SA survivors. And that's what I have on that. Yeah, we won't know until trial who the witnesses are and all of that kind of stuff. We know he's guilty of having parties, and because there's videotape, like I said, I think right before you came on, Laugh, there's videotape of him walking out on a balcony, and I think it's the pool is down below. There's something down below where there's adults and kids, and he tells the children, "Okay, kids, it's time for you to go to your room while the adults have some fun." And what's alleged is on videotape is that the children are taken into a room. They're all taken to a room, and that they are drugged, and that they are taken for different adults to use. That's what's alleged. Right. See, as of the hearing, there was, yeah, I agreed. I agreed, Zach, and I agreed, JR. But what looks bad on his part is that even though he's in jail, he's still contacting witnesses and trying to buy them off. Hey, Cheryl, welcome. We're talking about Diddy, Cheryl, and all of the things that he's being accused of. And it's it's really, really bad. Okay, at the hearing, we were just talking about the hearing that was just Friday. And, while some of us agree that he's guilty of something, some of this stuff, that there are people that are being opportunistic. But what I think looks bad on Diddy is that even though he's in jail, he's still contacting witnesses, still trying to intimidate them, trying to buy them off, trying to, get them to change their story or just be quiet altogether. He's doing this from behind jail. He's using other inmates' phone time to call witnesses and trying to buy them off or get them to change their story. And to the witnesses' credit, they're turning him in. you know, and it's like the prosecutor said at the hearing that was yesterday. He said, if he is doing this from in jail, what would he do outside of jail? Yeah, he laughed. He's using he's using other inmates' phone cards so that the witness doesn't know that it's him calling, and calling witnesses and trying to get them to change their story, trying to get them to, or if they will shut up, he will give them X amount of dollars. That's beyond crazy. And this is a laugh, Cheryl. His attorney tried to say that the video of him beating the stuffing out of Cassie Ventura is edited, that he didn't do that. No, it's not allowed. It's actually illegal and will end up him getting more charges. He's been told 2 previous times by the judge, do not contact witnesses in any way, shape, or form. And the judge even said, well, he said, because the prosecutor said 2 days after the judge previously told him, do not contact witnesses, 2 days later, he was on the phone with another inmate's phone card, calling witnesses, trying to get them to change their story. And the judge said, well, if he will not obey my command, my orders for 2 days, what makes you think that he will obey them now from home? And the whole thing is just beyond crazy. You know, like the thing with Cassie Ventura. He's on tape beating the stuffing out of her. He drug her by her hair around a hotel lobby, kicking her, stomping her in the ribs, punching her in the face. It's all on videotape. And his lawyer tried to say that that videotape is edited, that that never happened. And the judge said, well, he said, I have seen the videotape. He is clearly dragging her around the hotel lobby by her hair, kicking her as he walks, stomping her in the ribs, punching her in the face as he drags her around the hotel room. So the judge was clearly not buying what his lawyer was selling. And it just infuriates me that he has all this money and look at how he treats these poor women. It's just infuriating because, yeah, there's now, see, as of court on Friday, there was 100 cases, 100 charges filed against him in 100 separate cases. Now there's 120 separate cases. It's just crazy. Yeah, waste of money, but you know, the way I look at it is everyone is entitled to a fair trial. I get infuriated at the YSL trial because that up until Whitaker came on board, that was not a fair trial. It was not a fair trial at all. Yeah, he should feel embarrassed, but he doesn't. There's pictures of him in court sitting back, all smug looking. The YSL trial was not a fair trial the entire time Glanville was judge. And yeah, it was not a fair trial. When Whitaker came on board, she has done her very best to make sure that the defense is allowed to put on their case. That was not done before her. I remember, and I've been watching since January, times when Max would be objecting and Glanville would tell him to sit down and shut up. You don't tell a lawyer sit down and shut up. You listen to what they have to say. It's in New York. New York does not allow televised trials. The only thing that we can hope is that when Trump gets in office, that he will push for televisions in all federal courts. Right. You know, and I feel, and we're going to get to see, Cheryl, the new set of defendants. The trial starts December the 3rd, status hearing, and Whitaker is the judge. And we're going to get to see how the trial would be run with her as the judge from the beginning. I feel that she knows that Glanville created reversible error, and that if there's any conviction, that it's going to come back on appeal. The sad thing about it is that it will take years for the appeal to come back. Doug Weinstein said that it will take, because the trial has been 2 years long, it will take a year for the trial transcript to be created. He said then after that, because of its length, it will cost 6 figures for the appeals lawyer to buy the transcript. There's reversible error because the ex parte meeting itself was reversible error. Because judges know that they are not to have an ex parte meeting with a client, not a client, and a prosecutor and a sworn witness even though the sworn witness has an attorney present. It's not okay. And the reason why it's not okay is because, okay, the law says that if there's an ex parte meeting and it's a critical point of trial, which it was, that the judge has a duty to inform the defense that the meeting took place. It has a duty to inform the defense. Not only did he not inform the defense, when the defense said through Brian Steele that they found out about it, he tried to put Brian Steele in jail for not telling him who his contact was. Excuse me, is called attorney-client privilege. He's not required to tell the court who told him about the meeting. The only thing I see, Cheryl, about the current case, I see glimmers of hope in Whitaker because she granted directed verdict on 3 of the charges. Directed verdict is usually never granted, never. It's just a mechanism for the defense attorney to show that they did everything they could for their client. She granted 3. She used directed verdict to dismiss 3 of the charges and to partially dismiss on 3 others, stating that the jury could choose lesser verdicts. That's a huge win for the defense. That's a huge win for the defense. because usually directed verdict is just a tool to show the appellate court, yes, we did everything we could for our client. We applied for directed verdict. We did this, we did that. And Whitaker is done and over with it. It's my belief that cameras should be in all courts throughout the country. Yeah, directed verdict is usually never granted. Never, ever. Rare, very rare that it's granted. And the fact that she granted it on 3 charges and used that to dismiss 3 charges is good. And this is my belief. I'm not sure about RICO, but there's no proof tying Demonte Kendrick to the Donovan Thomas murder or the Shamel Drinks murder. None. And the state is trying to say because they charged RICO that proves it. That does not prove it. He was not there. And they also have no proof that he was inside Jeffrey Williams' house on the day of the raid. He was arrested outside running. Rico is on vacation in the Bahamas. Yep. Yeah. The state was not happy when she granted them 3. Hilton looked like she wanted to crawl under the desk. She kept staring down at the floor. Yeah. See, one of the things that makes this whole RICO case unconstitutional is, okay, RICO is supposed to prove that things were done in furtherance of the organization, like money was raised, and there's no proof. And the one witness said that they never looked at Jeffrey Williams' financial records. They never subpoenaed them. Yeah, laugh. Cheryl is one of my regulars, along with Zach and JR. And where'd she go? Another regular girl. Where did she go? Nope, Zach is here. I was looking to see if Cap Girl left. It's wild and it's crazy. Yeah, they are hated. And I noticed that Love looks like she's off of the case. She hasn't even been in the courtroom for over a week. And I know I read that she has a hearing, a misconduct hearing on December the 5th. Yeah. It's weird. Okay. I hope that they have a body do part of the closing. He will literally put the jury to sleep. he did the closing for the Trump hearing with Ashley Merchant. The dude can't read a sentence. He stopped and paused every 10 or 15 words and paused for like 10 or 15 seconds. You know, when I read until the end of the sentence. When he reads, he stops like every, I would say 7 to 10 words, and he pauses for like 10 to 15 seconds. And then he'll read a couple more words and he pauses, reads a couple more words and he pauses. The jury will be like, what? Where did they find this dude? Right? it's it's beyond crazy that all of this is going on. And you know, when, since we're talking about other court cases, we have to talk about Lake and Riley. You know, that bastard, he was found guilty. He showed zero emotion. Her mom got up there and was talking about her and was saying her life is forever changed. Her sorority sisters got up there and said that they don't know how they're going to go on. The one girl was her running partner and said she's quit running. She refuses to run ever again, that she's just so scared that someone like him is going to grab her, and that she believes that if she had been there, she could have helped her friend and that her friend would be alive. And see, Lakin had a Garmin wristwatch that connects to your phone. And when they showed, they said that he beat her for 18 minutes. She fought for her life for 18 minutes. And they showed the graph from the Garmin where he drug her around the field and she fought continuously until he picked up a rock and he bashed her in the head with it. I cried. Because the medical examiner said he flattened her skull. What a sick, evil bastard. All because he asked her for sex when he was following her running, and she said no and tried to run away. And he stripped her naked. He left her in that field with no clothes, took her clothes home, and he's seen on videotape taking her clothes, folding them up, and throwing them in a dumpster by his apartment. Yeah. I would watch it and then I'd have to turn it off. And his lawyer, pardon my language, fucked him royal. Wednesday before the trial started on Friday, she waived a jury trial. So it was held in front of a judge. Yeah, illegal immigrant again. And you know, the reason why I started following that case is because, you know, Kamala Harris never called her parents to say that the administration was sorry. Never called her. Biden never called her. Trump, he called the parents and he went and met with them and told them how sorry he was. And then, several of these mainstream newspapers took pity on Ibarra, her attacker. Said the one headline said, he never had a chance. She's truly not sorry. And in the Fox News interview, Bret Baier asked her if she was upset for Laken Riley's family. Yeah, I'm serious. There were several newspaper articles that said Jose Ibarra, he never had a chance. She ignored all facts and the parents. And Bret Baier brought it up at a interview with Kamala Harris in September, and he asked her point blank, are you sorry that you let in someone like Jose Ibarra that did such an awful thing to Laken Riley? And she said, and I'm paraphrasing, that we need to feel sorry for the immigrants that come here. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, and then last night, this is just hilarious. This part here. I watch my news on YouTube, and the Democrats are talking about running Kamala again in 2028, which means they've learned nothing from this shellacking, I'll put it that way, that they got from Trump. He got 312 electoral college votes, and she got like 230 something. That's almost 100 more. And then he won initially he had won the popular vote by 5%. But the Democrats, the way they cheat is even though after the election, they still keep counting. They still keep counting. That's how they cheat. Yeah, I agree, Cheryl. She's effed in her squirrel brain. Woody has changed America. Yeah. Yeah, it was on Fox News. I think it was on Jesse Waters last night. He said, have they learned nothing? He said, Donald Trump won by 312 electoral votes, and they are saying that they want to run her again. They're saying they want to run her again. 48% of Democrats say that she should be on the top of the ticket in 2028. Yeah. You know, here's something that I pointed out in a previous live. In just 1 week after Trump was elected, Iran said that they would no longer attack Israel, which that's huge. Russia said, we want peace, told Trump, we want peace. And China said, we don't want war with the US. And it's like, okay, so, and Zelensky said, we want peace. But here's the problem. Okay, you have Ukraine. Ukraine is twice the size of the state of Texas. There's the Donbass region, which when Obama was president, the Russians invaded Donbass. And how Putin works, he goes in, he kills off all the people, and then he takes Russian citizens and moves them in and claims it as Russian territory. That's just the way he works. He did that in the country of Georgia. And so Zelensky said, we want all of our territory back. We want the Donbass region back, which I understand that. I don't blame him for wanting their whole country back. And what Russia is trying to do is, okay, Ukraine goes all the way to the Black Sea. Russia is trying to cut them off from the Black Sea to isolate them so that they can't send their products to port without going through Russia. That's what's going on. And also, if they get their land bridge to Poland, then they can go right up through that land bridge and attack Poland next. The world is in bad shape before Trump makes it to the Oval. Yeah. See, my friend JR at JR Dukes on YouTube just did a live on the Ukraine war. And he shows the red regions where Russia has invaded and taken over. And they want that to be a land bridge so that they can isolate. They can do two things. They can isolate Ukraine from the world, and they can use that land bridge to go right up to Poland and then attack Poland next. Now, when they attack Poland, that's a NATO country. We're at war. We are at war because the NATO charter says an attack on one is an attack on all, and all countries signed to the treaty must defend the country at war. That's Article 5. And see, Ukraine wants to be in NATO so that they will have the backing of Europe and America and the NATO countries. And I understand that. I get that. Yeah, it's purposely done because Putin said when Ukraine and Poland and the Baltics got their freedom, that was the worst day of his life, and he will do anything in his power to get them back under the Russian flag. And now, because of our stupid current president, Ukraine attacked ammo dumps 190 miles inside of Russia, and Russia responded with hypersonic missiles and said, in the future, we will give you warning and you must evacuate the area because we will annihilate the area. And it showed, there's videotape of the hypersonic missiles hitting different targets in this town and wiping out whole buildings. This is purposely done, is right, Cheryl. Yeah, we have to pray for our country, is right, Laugh. We have to pray for our country. I pray for our country every day because we have a president that's currently in power that doesn't know what the hell he's doing, doesn't know what the hell he's saying. This uptick, I'll call it, in the Ukraine war is because of Biden. Biden went out last Sunday and he was supposed to give a speech talking about we need to plant more trees because trees take carbon dioxide, CO2 out of the air, and then it's better for our country. And instead, he walks to the mic and he says, good afternoon. I have just given Ukraine permission to use long-range U.S. missiles to attack targets deep within Russia. Have a good day. And he turned and walked off, which Russia immediately said through Putin that they are reconsidering their use of nukes on the battlefield. And that he gathered together what I would call his war cabinet to change their missile strategy regarding Ukraine. And the next day, no, it was Wednesday that Ukraine did that attack deep within Russia. And that afternoon, no, not that afternoon, that evening, Wednesday evening, Putin began using hypersonic missiles. Now, hypersonic missiles, they can go from Russia to Ukraine in minutes. And they have, how can I describe it? They have a warhead that has multiple warheads in it, and the cone comes off, and the individual little smaller warheads go to separate targets within a town. And it showed the warhead hitting like 12 different buildings, wiping out 12 different buildings in this town. Hippocrates? Did you mean hypocrites? And it's just crazy. Gotta look at my, yeah. It's just crazy. But we have hope. I'm going to do a live tomorrow about Trump's cabinet picks. And I'm going to talk about the Matt Gaetz and Pam Bondi situation, because I kind of feel like Trump wanted Pam Bondi all along, but he wanted Matt Gaetz out of the Congress because there was that ethics report coming out, a very damning ethics report. Yeah, they scatter is right. It can hit 12 different targets in a town. And it showed from the clouds going pow, 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 pow. And then okay, there, are we back? I've got a little lapel mic. Is my mic back? Okay. I've got a little lapel mic that I clip to my hat. I need to get a new one, but I don't have the money. It only lasts an hour, and we've been up an hour and a half. We got to figure something out, Laugh, for me to get a new mic. But the munitions scatter. It can hit up to 12 different targets at once. Now, I really need to do a whole live about this all by itself. Because there's a lot to cover, and maybe we can do that tomorrow. Because there's a lot to cover, and Pete Hegseth wrote a book about, yeah, 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 yeah. My good boy. Let me see if I can. Oh, let's see. Let's do this. There's the doggo. Thought I would show you. Doggy's name, his name is Apollo, and he's a good boy. He turned a year old. He's 3/4 Bernese Mountain Dog and 25% Standard Poodle, and him's the best boy. Him's the best dog. But he's a year old and he weighs 95 friggin' pounds. I got to go let him out. I'll be right back. Okay, there. He's 3/4 Bernese Mountain Dog and 25% Standard Poodle. It's called an F1B reverse Bernie Doodle. And because he looks just like a Bernese Mountain Dog, but because he has that 25% Standard Poodle, he'll live twice as long. Bernese Mountain Dog's lifespan is 6 to 8 years. And the Bernie Doodles, their lifespan is 16 to 18. And that's why I decided on the reverse Bernie Doodle. It's called a Bernie Doodle because it's cross a Bernese Mountain Dog and let me spell it. I love him. I used to get only Great Danes. Yeah. I used to only get Great Danes, but the thing with Great Danes, when you train them to be a service dog, they only live like 6 to 8 years. And I did not want, because I get really attached to my dogs. I give them lots of affection. I spoil them rotten. Yeah. See, Great Danes, they get huge. My Great Dane male that I had called Gunner, he weighed 185 pounds. He was purebred. Yeah, even if you give them real meat, Zach, because of their sheer body size, my Great Dane was 48, no, 40, 42 inches tall at the shoulders. Yeah, Great Danes are awesome dogs, but they don't live long. Yeah, I used to do that, Cheryl. When I had my Great Dane, I had to make his own food because he was allergic to so much stuff that's in regular dog food. But it was expensive to feed him. Yeah, it's expensive to feed your Great Dane because, okay, my Great Dane that I had would would if I gave him dry dog food, he would eat 5 pounds a day. He went through three 40-pound bags of dog food a month. This one, he's starting to eat more, but he does a 40-pound bag of pedigree a month. 45 pounds lasts him a month, but he's starting to eat a little bit more now that he's a year old. He'll start filling out. Yeah. Yeah, cats eat less, but I'm deathly allergic to cats. I used to have a pet cat and I ended up in the hospital. And the doctor said that it was either get rid of the cat or I was going to be 6 feet under. So I had to get rid of the cat. I got something called hypoxemia. Yeah. It's a scary world we live in, isn't it? And one of my aides, Tara, I have 3 different aides that come and help me out, come and clean house and stuff. One, Tara, she doesn't watch TV. She's almost 30 years old and she doesn't watch TV. And here's something, Laugh, that we're going to talk about on Monday. And this was a shocker. Elon Musk has offered to buy MSNBC. Don Jr., seriously, yeah, seriously. Don Jr. sent Elon a message on X and said, "Hey, I have a crazy idea, dot, dot, dot," and showed the NBC Peacock. And and Elon answered back, "So how much does it cost?" So I think that, and then there was a report on X this morning that said that 2 of our favorite people are soon going to be the owners of NBC. So I think that Don Jr. and Elon are coming up with a plan to buy NBC. And the people at NBC are freaked the hell out. It got published this morning how much Cheryl Maddow makes. She does one show a week, one show, and she gets $25 million a year for one show a week. How crazy is that? And the Trish Regan said yesterday that she did some calculation because she used to work for Fox Business, and she said that Elon could probably buy MSNBC. They're offering MSNBC. This is a killer. They're offering MSNBC, CNBC, and OWN network to a new owner for $7 billion. So, in theory, Elon and Donald Jr. could end up owning Oprah's network. I thought that was hilarious when she said that. Orange man, good kitty. That's cool. All right. I'm going to get off of here. But we have lots of things to talk about. So much to cover. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Laugh, does 4 o'clock tomorrow work out good for you? Yes. All right, Laugh. Would 4:30 work out better for you? I want to do the streams when you can be there. Because 4 o'clock Eastern time is 2 o'clock my time. We covered a lot today, didn't we? Yep. Take care. I'll message you on X. Oh, right. Let's do 4 o'clock. And Laugh, I'll message you on X and tell you what I want to cover. And if you have any ideas, just message me back when you can, okay? All right. See y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.